The views and opinions expressed on Betrayal, Why Did They Snap? Are those of the hosts and guests and are provided for educational, informational, and discussion purposes only. This program discusses real court cases, public news stories, and documented events as reported by reputable media sources. We do not claim to know the private thoughts, motives, mental health diagnosis, or intent of any individual unless such information has been formally established in public records or court findings. Nothing discussed on this show should be construed as legal advice, medical advice, psychological diagnosis, or professional counseling. Listeners are encouraged to seek qualified legal, medical, or mental health professionals for guidance related to their specific circumstances. While we strive for accuracy, information may evolve as cases progress, and we encourage listeners to verify facts independently. The hosts do not assert guilt, innocence, or liability beyond what has been publicly reported or adjudicated. This program is not intended to defame, harass, or harm any individual. Any commentary is focused on behaviors, patterns, and publicly known events, not personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised, as this show may include discussions of trauma, violence, betrayal, and criminal behavior. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us today on Betrayal, Why Did They Snap? I am Trina Laird, your co-host with...
Laurie McDermott, your ex-second co-host.
Awesome. And today we're going to talk about someone many people wouldn't normally associate with a midlife crisis, and that is Steve Perry, the iconic voice of Journey. And most people think of midlife crisis as affairs, divorces, motorcycles, or blowing up a family, but Steve Perry's crisis looked very different. And in some ways, it's just as devastating.
Oh my God, exactly. Steve Perry wasn't even married. There wasn't a spouse that was left behind. There was no public scandal, which is why his midlife crisis should give every listener a little bit of a pause. But what did happen is that he lost the one thing that defined him, his identity as a singer. Right?
Yeah. And in the late 1980s and 90s, Steve Perry slowly disappeared from music. And not because he wasn't talented, not because fans stopped loving him, but because he hit a deep internal wall.
Oh, I remember that. That was so sad. And you know what? That's key because from my data and research, midlife crisis is a selfish experience, a soul-seeking journey. It is not about who felt betrayed. His bandmates, his audience, good Lord. They must have felt horribly betrayed. And I am a huge Journey fan, so I was pretty sad about this whole thing. And by the way, I'm going to see them at the Bryce Jordan Center at State College, Pennsylvania. If anyone else wants to see Journey with the new singer, it's still just as good. Incredible voice. Please email us at whydidtheysnap@gmail.com. Let's get a group of people together and go see this together. Right, Trina?
Oh my God, that sounds like a blast.
Right.
I'm there. I will totally go. I'll swing by Nashville on the way too.
Oh,
To and from.
Oh my God,
That would be perfect.
Wait, who's in Nashville that you'd like to see?
My son.
Oh my God, I would love to meet him. Okay, love it. One thing I have learned from my own betrayal happening to me is to let go, get out, and go enjoy things that you actually love. Do it now. We do not live forever. Zip away for a weekend. And if you're sitting at home right now feeling sad or betrayed, Trina and I are here to give you support, hold your hand, and provide a safe place where you can come, laugh with others, and feel like you are not alone.
Yeah, totally.
So what's great about Steve Perry is his voice. His voice is like butter, and there's nobody that can duplicate his voice. So when he left the band, they were despondent, betrayed. I'm sure they were depressed for days. I don't know a lot about their history and their families, but it must have been horrible for them. While he's on living his life and doing his own journey, those boys were really left behind. And finding another voice that matches Steve's is almost impossible. How many karaoke bars have you gone to and heard someone try to belt out "Don't Stop Believing" and scratch everything and people are holding their ears? It is not easy to sing that. He's got a special voice. But they did find someone to replace him. I think he's from Korea or the Philippines, and he's really good. They found him at a karaoke bar.
Oh my god, really?
Yes,
That's crazy. Well, you know what? Can you imagine a band, when you're a band, you become a family, and Steve was, I think, like, the head of the family, and when he walked out, ugh, I can't imagine how that felt for everybody. It must have been absolutely devastating.
oh my gosh, think of the fans. I think I cried. I'm just kidding. But I did. I was sad. I remember I was sad. And I kept thinking, why would he do that? Why would he just leave us, leave
At
the
the top of
fans?
his career.
Yeah. Well, how could he do that?
Mhm.
And don't we say that when a husband leaves? How could he
Totally.
do that to the family? How could he do
Yeah,
that to that woman? Who is he? Why would he do that? Why did he snap? And,
yeah. He had everything any man would die or kill to have, and he just walked away at the top of his career, you know? It was heartbreaking. And he recently said in an interview with Dan Rather on YouTube that he just lost his passion. He felt disconnected from his voice, disconnected from the pressure, disconnected from who he was supposed to be.
yeah. It's like when wives think when their husbands walk out that they did something wrong. And here you can plainly see the band did nothing wrong. Yet I wonder, do you think they sat around asking themselves, I could have done more to support Steve? What did I do wrong? How did I fail Steve? Do you think they had those thoughts?
Do you? Because that's a good question. I mean, you know, it's possible when something goes wrong in our life at first, we lash out and blame others. And I think then it's sort of normal to look at yourselves and think, what did I do wrong? Could I have changed this? You know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, many calls I have with betrayed wives, the first they are pissed. They blame, they call them all kinds of nasty names because they're mad. And, I bet that band was really pissed.
Yeah, I sure would be. So we create this band, we write all these songs, travel all over the world, and create an audience that absolutely adores us, sings every song along with us as we play. And then sadly, one guy changes his mind sort of out of the blue and then leaves the whole scene entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That's good for the person leaving, terrible for the other. Self-seeking, aka selfish for the person leaving. And then the other people have to deal with the fallout. Title of your show, Trina's show, Bomb Drop.
That's true. Yeah, I wonder if he was married, if he would have left her too. Like if he was married, if he would have left his wife, because some people in these positions will leave their wife and their job just to chase something, anything.
To
They
Steve
think they're just not happy.
Yeah. To Steve Perry, this was only about him. Leaving anyone behind or betraying anyone didn't matter to him. He had to do it or he's going to lose himself. Please hear this when I say all men and women who go through a midlife crisis, it is not about the people who love them. It is about saving what they feel they are losing inside their own soul. Inside,
That is so true. That is so true, and nobody realizes it at first. I think for me, it was about a year until I really realized that was the case. And with Steve Perry, his crisis lasted years. I think roughly 7 years of withdrawal and silence as he rode his motorcycle or let the wind blow through his hair. He was avoiding music, um, didn't wanna hear it, play it, think about it. He was creating another world for himself.
yeah, you know what? That just reminded me, I was at Disney World a couple days ago, and they have this new ride called Tron, and it's so scary. You have to get in this ride, and you have to lean forward and pull on these handlebars. So you're hunched over on this ride like on a motorcycle, and the wind blows, and there goes your hair. But you know what? It feels free. So if anyone gets a chance to go to Disney World, get on that ride first thing when you walk in the park because the line gets long. Yeah, sorry, back to Steve. Yeah, so there are so many examples in the music industry and, just entertainment as well of all these types of betrayals. And they have nothing to do with the marriage and the wife or the spouse left behind. Nothing.
Yeah. So if we go back in time and here's this guy, he's been singing with his band and he wants something different. Well, what does he do instead of just leave?
He has a conversation with his band and he's honest about how he's feeling. And then he asks them for suggestions of what he could do to help himself feel better. And then they work together and he listens openly to them. That's how I would guide someone. Be honest.
Um, so you're thinking like maybe have a powwow meeting with the band or a therapy session. But the thing is, most men won't do that to their wives. They just shut down and do not confront or share feelings. So, sort of, how would a man do that to another group of men? I think he might worry that he looks weak or something.
Yeah, maybe. But when you're a man with other men, maybe. But what's the alternative? It's what Steve did. He just walked away and left them and hurt and damaged. And we don't know if they talk today. Maybe. But if he doesn't care what other people think, he's going to leave anyway. And then why not be honest from the very start and about how
Yeah,
you feel and what you want? Why not?
exactly.
Have a conversation, have a dialogue, be honest, be brave, share your feelings. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to
No,
stay with you assholes anymore. I want to ride my bicycle into the sunset. Why
yeah, isn't that so sad that some people just cannot, um, confront themselves, you know? Because really, if you do it that way, it wouldn't be a betrayal. Because when you're honest about how you feel, you know?
Yeah, Steve could have said to them, if I keep singing, I might commit suicide. I can't keep doing this anymore and I don't know what to do. They might have been like, well, maybe we can do it once a week. Maybe we can go on a trip once a month. Like, don't leave. Let's work this out. You go ride your bike 5 days a week and we'll see you on the weekends. We'll take care of everything. They could have done something. But if you don't come clean with someone and tell them, I'm struggling, this is really hard for me, I need solutions. Do you have any? Can you help me through this? Then you're denying other people the opportunity to help you and to be your team player.
Yep. And they don't have a crystal ball.
Mm.
They can't sense that what's going on inside you, you know? I think folks hide it really, really well. And, to everybody else, he's a rock star out there doing great, traveling the world, you know, hit records. Who would think that something's happening? Although I think in his case, with his mother passing, I think that was a huge thing.
Mhm. Got a mother and father passing. All it means is you're next. And you're going to die. We're all gonna die. None of us get out of here without dying. And I think men have a harder time looking at that to see that, "Oh my gosh, my mom died. Oh my gosh, my dad died. I'm next." If they've just disappeared into dust, then that means I'm
Mhm.
going soon too. What do I do now? How do I live my life? What happens now? I'm married to that lady. I'm doing this job with this band. This sucks. I get no fulfillment out of it. And that's right there. It's when you have to recognize that, oh, I guess it's time for me to be grateful. Gratitude will get you out of this funk quickly. If Steve Perry could have stood on the stage and looked at all that audience and said, I did it. I'm so
Mhm.
happy I'm here. Look at you people. Look at me. I came from nothing. And look where we are. This is freaking awesome. That
Yeah.
will make you into a success where you stay and you're grateful,
Mhm.
right?
That's true. Because when he was 12 years old, that's when he got that idea, I think from the necklace that his mom gave him with a guitar or a musical note on it or something. And, that was when he heard a song on the radio and decided he wanted to be a singer. And, everybody has that moment. And when you're thinking you wanna be a singer, usually it's a super rock star, singing out to millions. And yeah, you're right. He had that opportunity. I mean, he totally did it. He totally made his dream come true, and he walked away from it. It's really heartbreaking, but he's just another example, but it wasn't a midlife crisis that you normally see, but it was a midlife crisis. The whole self-identity broke down, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, because he stopped being fulfilled by the dream he wanted. He got it. It's the chase, Trina. They
Yep.
chase. Well, get this, there's lots of men who are about to be in midlife crisis, and they're like, "We gotta get this house, and then I gotta get this, and I get this." And then they get their dream house. This is why people who build houses, sometimes the husband bails because they've done all these great things, they keep climbing, and now he's got it. This is where they're gonna be, their castle forever. And then he's like, "Uh-oh, uh-oh. All that's next is for me sitting in that chair, getting old, and dying." And that's where they start to feel, I've got to do something. And they start stirring things up, and then they end up running, doing what Steve Perry did, or finding a girlfriend and leaving their family and not talking to their kids and family and creating all kinds of chaos.
Yep, and like you said, if you're going through something, if you're sensing something's off, talk to others because they will listen and they will understand you, and it's possible they're going through the same thing. And, they may not like it, but, you've gotta it it's so important to communicate like that and tell your truth.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, the truth. The truth will set you free. I believe that to my core, and when we don't live our truth, we can get into some sticky situations of feeling trapped. Um, yeah, and, one thing I wanted to add, which I was thinking about before we did this call is, imagine him getting up there saying, "I'm here, same audience, same crowd, same band members, same songs, over and over and over again. Now let's switch it to the family. Same house, same kids, same problem, same boring sex with my wife." Steve Perry didn't have a woman, but he had all the other things and was still in the cycle of losing who he was and what he wanted. And, that's like a reality check of saying to yourself, wait, what do I want right now? What do I want? And if we can keep focused on what we want in these moments, it's like, maybe I want to ride my motorcycle, but I'm still singing in this band. How can I do that too? Okay, figure it out. Instead of, you don't have to give up something. You don't have to give up your family to go figure out what you want. Figure it out. Find time and space in your family to figure out what you need there instead of imploding everybody and then recognizing later, because they always do, "Uh-oh, I screwed up, I should never have left." That happens.
Yeah. Just pause, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, just pause. But, that's totally true. Because a midlife crisis happens to, many men and women when this personal turmoil happens. They turn inward, and they fight for their survival of self. They they'd rather fight than discuss feelings, and that's why they end up betraying those around them. Run away and be free from even having to sit down and explain yourself to others.
Hmm. That's hard to do for anyone. "Tell me what you did. Why did you do it?" I don't know. These midlife crisis men, they have no idea what they did and why they did it. And I'm sure
Mhm,
I know that Dan Rather film on YouTube, if they really went through it, like, "Well, why did you do this?" Like, really get into that, like, those personal questions,
mhm.
I don't know if he would be able to answer it because there's a lot of dark periods where they don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, during the fog and the tunnel. And, what's really sad is in his situation, he walked away, not let that overtake them. If he could have just paused it, maybe taken a little break from the band or something, although I guess it did coincide with an injury, you know? So, he did have that issue, but still, because the thing is, when he walked away, he was gone for over 7 years, isolated himself,
Mhm.
and, never got back in that music direction. And from what he says in today's interviews that are all over YouTube now, because he's had several interviews, I guess he's really, he well, you guys will have to watch the interviews, but
He's
he
coming
made a
back.
promise. What?
He's coming back, Trina. He's coming back.
He
He's
made
coming back.
I hope so. But, he made a promise to that one of his girlfriends that passed away, he says the love of his life
Yeah,
that passed away, that he
like,
he
love it.
promised he would not,
Be
isolate
alone.
himself again.
Don't be alone. Yep. Love that. What an
Yeah.
incredible man.
Mhm.
What an what a giver,
But
right?
he
This
struggled
woman.
with that. He still struggles with not isolating. I
Yeah.
think if he had his way, he'd really like to be holed up,
So let's
not,
talk about this.
uh
What an angel that he met. That lady was an angel. He only knew her for a year and a half, and
yeah,
she was so impactful to him, and as she's leaving to go to heaven, she's telling him, "Don't be isolated. Live your life." And he vowed that. So what is he doing? Now he's coming back into the music scene, and he'll see how much people really like him. Like, he is really he's unique and a wonderful person. He just doesn't know it.
yep, exactly. Yeah, and what makes Steve Perry's story so compelling is that he didn't run into a place of chaos like you would normally happens in midlife crisis when they leave their family and go with an affair partner, affair down, and just destroy their life and everybody else. He didn't destroy everybody else the way that would have happened in a marriage. He really turned inward. He ran into avoidance and fear. He really went inward.
Yeah. Fear is a bad part of this. It's like a big part of this. Not being good enough anymore, not being able to meet expectations, and maybe those expectations are what you set inside. It's not that he's letting other people down. It starts with what he wants and not recognizing even who he is. And listeners, wherever you are right now, pause this for a second and ask yourself, who am I? What do I believe? What do I want? Many times you can get exactly what you want from right where you are. There is like this strange misconception that you must get rid of everything in order to get what you want. That's a lie. Don't believe that. You don't have to give up your wife, your family, your job to get something else. Never quit your job unless you have another one waiting for you. Otherwise, bad things will happen. And Steve Perry believed he could not get the freedom he wanted. He was looking to be, he wanted to be still attached to his band, but he also wanted his freedom, and he just chose freedom and left them sideways. He just
And in
left.
that, he also lost his passion. He totally lost his passion for music, for writing and singing. And he actually says he was worried, like scared that he may never sing again or want to sing again. And what a weird, for somebody who's really creative, that was their dream. I can't imagine to have that thought in your head of, am I ever going to get back that momentum? He could feel it. Isn't that crazy? He could really
Mm.
feel that was missing.
That-
And eventually, much later in
That's the
life.
depression.
Yeah, exactly. It was the depression, you're right. And yeah, eventually, much later in life, he did return, and not to chasing fame, not to ego, but to integration. And he came back only when he could accept that he was more than his voice, more than his peak years, and more than what people expected of him. And that, you guys, is recovery, not denial.
Yeah, and saying, I am enough. You are enough. We all are enough. Sitting
Yep.
wherever you are right now at this moment, say to yourself, I am enough just by sitting here and breathing. Even if you're feeling sad because someone has betrayed you, recognize that it doesn't matter. You have choices. You get to decide how you're going to react what someone did to you.
Yeah. The cool thing, Journey didn't give up and close up shop. Hell no. They went out and found another guy that sang as much as they could find, just like Steve Perry. And their reaction to Steve's betrayal snap was, well, we're sad you're gone, but we got to keep going without you. They owed it to the fans. There's a bigger picture than just the one person that is, battling with the self identity issue.
Yeah, that's what we do. We got to pick up and we got to keep going. We got to keep moving forward. That train is moving. Because when you feel betrayed, it's interfering that makes you feel that you don't have control. But when you see the truth that you can't change someone or control the other person that betrayed you, you remember, I can control myself. Now I get to decide what I'm going to do about what just happened.
Yeah. And I think that's the problem with society today. We all want to control each other so they don't hurt us, so they don't betray us. Could you imagine if we could control our husbands or others? Like the moment they have a temptation to betray, you could just pull out a remote control and click, stop them.
Yep, I'm first in line.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I like I said, I'd be first in line. And this is the lesson for anyone listening who feels betrayed. You must keep growing. You must keep going. And falling in love with yourself is the one thing you can do.
Yeah. Even if you're in a crappy job, crappy marriage, crappy situation.
Yeah, midlife crisis leads us to betrayal. It can take you down, eat you alive, destroy you to your core. It can steal your time, your identity, and your connections. Or you can twist your perspective so that this crappy event leads to the greatest growth in your life that you ever had.
Yeah. Because, silence doesn't mean safety and withdrawal doesn't mean healing.
Mhm.
And whether someone blows up a family or disappears into themselves, the root is the same. It's their unprocessed identity loss.
Yeah, Steve Perry's life is only an example of what taught us a lot today. That midlife crisis leads to betrayal is survivable. Is that a word? I'm not sure, but I like it. Let's call
It is now.
it is now. We just made it up. The midlife crisis that leads to betrayal is survivable. And even though Steve Perry's not back with his band Journey, he's singing on his own, and I can't wait to see what songs he brings us.
Yeah. It's a new normal, his new normal.
Come with me to
Yeah.
see Journey in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
Well, aren't they gonna perform closer to, like, LA?
Maybe.
Yeah, you know what, you guys, if you ever feel betrayed, just never give up. Keep going. Just like isn't there a Journey song that goes along with that?
Yeah, don't stop believing. Don't
Yes!
stop
Don't stop
believing.
believing.
Best song ever. I only sing it when I've had cocktails and it's at the top of my lungs.
I think it's one of the most popular karaoke songs, isn't it?
No,
That's a great song.
it's so hard to sing. It's a popular song at a bar when it's closing. Wait, sorry. It's clothing. It's a popular song at a bar when it's closing, and everyone who's been drinking gets together and starts singing. Even at a wedding, they play it now. That's like one of the closing songs. It's wonderful because everyone holds hands, they put their arms around each other, everyone sings it. Everyone sings terrible because no one can sing like him, but it's just a wonderful, beautiful song.
It is, and you know what? And that's the whole thing. Don't stop believing, no matter what.
Mm, that's a good line.
And it breaks my heart to think that there's people out there going through the beginning of a traumatic midlife crisis, whether they're married with a family or not, or whether they're in a career that they're gonna walk away from. Just the fact that they are struggling with who they are, that's really sad because clearly they are not believing in a certain direction. They're letting something else control.
Fear. We talked about that
Yes,
earlier. They're
yeah.
letting fear control them, and that's scary, and that's sad, but that's something they can control on their
Mhm.
in your mind. Our minds are the wicked place where all our stories start, exist, and grow into nonsense if we're not careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was a great episode. You guys, if you have any comments for us, if you want to share a story with us, maybe you had a betrayal or you have a friend who had a betrayal, wink, wink, that's fine. We'll hear about that too. Send us an email to whydidtheysnap@gmail.com. We answer every single tiny email, no matter what you send, unless you send something that's funny or unkind. We will just delete those. But we would love to hear from you either way. Send us your stories. And if you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to take our little nifty poll. We have a poll and it's going to ask you a question, which is kind of fun. And we want to make betrayal not just depressing and sad. We want to show you that there is life even when you've been betrayed. Right, Trina?
Yeah. And we just have to realize that we live in a world where there is betrayal and, you know, don't take it personally. Just, I don't know, rise above it, find your path. But, yeah,
You want to
take the poll because we really, I think everybody has at some point or another has been betrayed. And, yeah.
we'll say thank you so much for supporting our channel and coming to listen. We are so excited to have you here. And we will see you next Friday. Next Thursday? Next Tuesday? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Actually, we've changed our episode dates are gonna come out, I think, on Tuesdays. So keep an eye out. Episode 4 will be out next Tuesday. All right. Thanks for
Yay!
joining us
Can't wait.
today. Thanks for joining us today on Why Did They Snap? And have a great week. See you soon.
Bye, guys.
The stories and events discussed in this podcast are for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or professional advice. Any names, locations, or identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, or real events are purely coincidental. The information presented on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. Always consult with a qualified expert regarding any decisions related to your specific situation. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the podcast creators.